Also, in terms of geography, we know the origin place of the Industrial Revolution that took place then mid 18th century in Great Britain, especially in England and Glasgow area as well. And then over time it spread to continental Europe, and through European to American immigration, it spread to North America down the 19th century, and later on Japan opened up itself to the world in the late 19th century, and since the mid 20th century, the Asian tigers become very successful in modernizing their national economy. Since then, since the 1980s, the more third world countries joined this trend, began to modernize, and that is also a process that the economy of whole world become globalized as well. So we can really see it clear the spread of this one single movement from one place of origin to other places. And this is a process that is very different from how the agriculture started. We know the agriculture, as we discussed before, that independently start from different parts of the world. You have Mesopotamia areas, the Nile Valley, you have the Indus River, you have North China, you have Southeast Asia, you have the Andes and Mesoamerica, all these places, because they have different kind of wild species of animals and plant. And eventually, when they are they become domesticated, they are part of independent production system in different parts of the world. But modern industry start from one single place, Great Britain, and from there to the continental Europe, and from there it further spread to other parts of the world. So we can really see that the modern industry has one particular source, and from there it spread to other parts of the world. Of course, new invention later on also occurred in other places, but the original source, original spirit of modernization, automation, and the use of commercial energy, the original ideas of industrial revolution, original approach toward the modernization of how to make things come from the one single source, and from there it spread to other parts of the world. So this is we can really see the clear contrast between industrial revolution and agricultural revolution. Okay, so if you can call the emergence and evolution of agriculture as a revolution process. Okay. Now, what is the essence of industrial revolution? Here we need to talk about an important concept. It's called labor productivity. Labor productivity. What is labor productivity? Labor productivity can be defined as the amount of output produced in each work hour by workers. So if you can make 2 chairs in 1 hour, I can make only 1 chair, and therefore you are more productive. So you have a higher labor productivity than I do. Okay. Now the issue here is that you can make 2 chairs, and somebody else maybe even better, they can make 3 chairs in 1 hour. But can you make 10 chairs in 1 hour? Can you make 100 chairs in 1 hour? It's impossible. There's a limit for our human muscle to how fast, how much we can really do within a certain amount of time. If you want to make more chairs in 1 hour, what do? For example, if you want to make 1,000 chairs in 1 hour, what do? You use machine. You use big fancy machine. You use automation. You automate the process so that you can use big machine to replace human labor, and that is essence of industrial revolution. Industrial revolution is basically a process. We use modern technology, we use modern capital, use modern machine to replace human muscle, and use modern commercial energy to replace the traditional animate energy source. And that is a fundamental way to increase labor productivity, to increase labor productivity. Okay. Also, think about that. Sometimes people ask why there are countries where people are rich, and there are other countries where people are poor. Why is the reason? Okay, let's come back to the example of making chairs. If you can make 3 chairs in 1 hour, I make only 1 chair, who should get the pay the more? You should be paid more because you can make more chairs. You are more productive. In general, the kind of earning that we make closely correspond to our labor productivity. People who make more generally earn more. People who can produce more product, they are paid more. And people who produce less product, they are paid less. So the industrial revolution is basically a process that uses machine to equip workers, to arm workers, so that increase workers' labor productivity, at the same time increase workers' pay as well. So the reason that for many rich countries, workers are paid more is because laborers there, workers there are more productive. And this is the fundamental reason that the industrial revolution can increase the income level because it makes workers, make people in general more productive. With the same amount of people, they can make more. And that's why they are paid more as well. Other things such as urbanization and high income and a lot of developed infrastructure, road system, basically come as a result of industrial revolution, come as a result of automation, and come as a result of increasing labor productivity. So this is the essence of industrial revolution, is raising workers' labor productivity, and therefore other things that we see modern is just natural consequences, is natural outcome. You look at this slide that shows that how different countries rise and fall in their share of global manufacturing output. At the very beginning of the mid 18th century, you can see that China is this kind of a white space here. It's China. Take a very large slice of world global manufacturing output, but over time, China's share reduced because these are basically the cottage industry. With the rise of modern industry, the Great Britain here later on, rest of the European countries, their slice increased to become really, really strong down late 19th century, early 20th century. Then North America, that is represented by the United States, their share increased as well, then Japan. And the consequence is that come to the late 1990s, China only had very slight thin share of the global manufacturing output. So you can really see how the traditional cottage industry was replaced by the modern industry. As a result, that had led to the country's rise and fall in the global manufacturing landscape. The traditional countries had declines, not only China here, but also India as well. And so the slides for the traditional China, Indian all declined, and they are replaced by these more modern Western countries. And the Western countries were able to catch up because of the industrial revolution, because of the modern industry. And this is a slide that shows that at the start of the modern age, 16th century, the per capita income level in India and China is comparable with that in the UK. Also is higher than that in the USA and Japan and Canada. But with the industrial revolution has been going on in the Western society for uh, several hundred years, and then you can really see the consequences that when we still look at the per capita income in 2000, India and China have left way behind all other Western countries. And that really gives you a sense of how, when you automate your economy, you automate your industry, you increase labor productivity, how that can significantly improve, increase the income level as well. And the reason India and China lag behind is uh, have modernized their economy compared with Western countries. So this is a chart that is very informative. So this chart goes back to the year one. That's where you look at the major world regions: Africa, Asia, the former USSR, Latin America, also the Western offshore that refer to the Americas, and the Eastern Europe and Western Europe. At that point in time, almost all world regions have a similar level of per capita income. In other words, all world regions are equally poor. And the same pattern about 1,000 years ago are here. But since the Industrial Revolution, you can see that some regions per capita income increased significantly. Western European countries and this Western Shore of the Western Shore refer to the North American countries. So North American countries and Western European countries, their income increased significantly as a result of industrial revolution. So long time ago, all world regions are equally poor, but because of the industrial revolution, because of the automation of industry, and that had brought fundamental changes. You know, the regions became differentiated from each